So he's the head of people.com, one of the very prominent classified. Why don't you join us? So we have Mr. Shafkat Haidar, Director of the BICC, Shafkat Bhai, and also ex-president of Basis, Mr. Joseph Hayes, VP of Masterclass. Joseph Hayes, Mr. Nadeem Rahman, CEO and Senior Vice Chairman, Fraser Partner. And we have got Joseph and Mr. Okoy. Yes, sorry for this project. So he's a VP, he's business development, I don't know, head of business development? Head of business development of Google. Welcome, Akshay. And we are also joined by Mr. Ashish Chakraborty, GM SSL Wireless, but unfortunately he couldn't come, but from the organization, Mr. Shahjada Ridwan. So I'm also, he's the head of engineering. I also welcome. And my panelist. I missed one. Mr. Rajiv Roy, CEO of Brandon.com. Sorry, Rajiv. So he is also owner and director of one of the very emerging e-commerce company. So we have got a couple of university speakers as well as 6 panelists. So I think we can start with the presentation from Shahid on e-commerce prospects and challenges. So I would request Shahid to actually kind of take, yes, like add maximum 20 minutes so that we can spend more time on the panel discussion. Okay, that's a quick glimpse. Anyway, so I'm not going to do very long introduction or anything. Just straight to the point because I have already cut the time. So this is what I'm going to talk about. So background prospect, missing parts of the ecosystem, e-commerce ecosystem, some fear factors, and finally I will give something for the e-commerce business process who are here, some practical tips. So what is e-commerce? It is sharing of service or commerce that involves some kind of computer or electronic transactions. So technically speaking, anything that involves any kind of online or computer transaction is e-commerce. But for us, we understand that everyone is happy to the internet, where people take the decision on the internet, and probably pay on the internet is e-commerce. So for Bangladesh or India, for example, most of the cases people don't pay online, but people take the decisions online. So there are different classifications like superstores like Amazon. We have our own Amazon, like we don't have the high-trade niche like diapers.com. We have like Kandulam, service sellers like videos, B2B like e-tunes, B2C like Rockomani, Hamiraki, and C2C like 50.
So I think this is very simple about that. Just to create a stage of what I'm going to say. And what we are missing, what should come next, is that sharing. First, after the session, everybody is trying to share everything, and stuff like Uber, Airbnb, and we don't have really good service for tourism, which is like Agora Expedia. Maybe Shopos is trying to do something like that, but uh, they only integrate bus right now. Streaming service like Netflix, Spotify, those things are missing, and maybe it will come. So the prospects, we always say that there is many perspectives about internet usage. I searched and I found that from 11 to 41 million people are Bangladeshi internet users on 5 different opinions. And we have to propose 3G, and mobile penetration is very high, like 75%. And we have very good popular payment gateway. And of course, the mobile payment gateway like BICC and also like Cash and that kind of things. So and so what is the future? So if you look at the Indian market, you can see that curve is going following a linear equation, then suddenly it goes up. It changes direction. Then maybe 4 or 5 years again linear equation, then again give a turn to the up. So my point is that growth is not really linear; it will be exponential. It will basically unimaginable by any of us. It will be beyond imagination. That's the beauty of internet. That's the beauty of network and e-commerce. And now, why Bangladesh stands? So the global business is about 1.5 trillion dollars, where India is about 100, which is $15 billion e-commerce market it has. And Bangladesh, I had estimated, is about 1.2 billion. And the growth is even lower than the global average. In fact, it's about 5% now. But India has a very good growth, which is about 30%. That's a good news because we will reach there. Because India has a very good health, so probably the growth will be lower. Here's another group where you can see that it's even lower than Pakistan right now, it's about 5%. So we know about e-commerce ecosystem. You need like payment, you need the sourcing, warehouse, then customer service, then delivery, and finally, the people who build the software and personify the services, customer the services. So here, some parts like sourcing, access to e-commerce site. The next will be customization, pay and purchase, shipping, and tracking of delivery, and finally customer service. So what is missing? I would say courier systems. We do not really have a working courier system to make this e-commerce happen. So right now, I think it's more opportunity. We have great opportunity to open up a good courier service system. That's e-commerce because every e-commerce business needs courier service. And what are the problems? They absolutely don't have any checks. They will not be able to say where to boxes, and perhaps even they will tell they will be able to check 15 minutes or 20 minutes. It's not automatic. So even if you ask, it's a manual process to find out what your package is. The delivery time is long, which is not liked by many of the customers, and inconsistent. Your package can reach after 1 day or it can reach after 15 days. And you never know. You have to ask them or ask the customer whether it has reached or not. And you know that we often use them for cash on delivery, and they are not really good at cash handling, and they are not supposed to be good at cash handling because they are not a cash handling company. And my question is that whether this cash on delivery is a scalable. Technical for the courier service, of course. Which is missing is another thing is tax break. So you know that Amazon, the largest player in the world, they actually took help or took advantage of tax break in one state of the USA. If you have a fulfillment center and if you want to sell to other state, so there is no such tax. So they found the state which has this sell and they sell sold all over the USA. And then that's how an ordinary shop had to pay the sales tax. They didn't have to pay the sales tax. So that's an advantage they enjoyed at the early stages. We probably did something like that. And payment gateway indicators. So we had some payment gateway indicators like Rajwala Bank and over that there are basis of commerce or should pay and those kind of things. But we don't really need the banks. We don't need some good payment gateway network that is that has a function of the central bank and that gives and that is focused for servicing the e-commerce because for banks they are just a small volume and who understand the need of e-commerce and everything. So what is missing? We don't have any recurring payment system. For you who are wondering what is recurring payment system, for example, my customer needs something every month or every week or maybe every year, and they will not pay all for advance, but they will pay in every month or every year. And but they don't want to go and or you don't ask them to go and go to your e-commerce site and order every time. So what they do, you do it for the postal services. You just give your credit card number and every year they automatically do that. So we don't have this right now in Bangladesh. I talked to the banks and they were reluctant and they said they are doing that. And option of chargeback to the client. So when there is a return, it's very difficult to charge back. So it's not possible. In fact, so what you have to do, you do is you take a balance on the bank and deposit to the customer side. So that's very complicated. And the people who went to the portals, so they will charge, but they will not direct the money that they will put it on board. For example, if you order some books in Amazon, they will not take the money right away from the payment. They will hold the money until they find the book, they ship the books are there, and they ship them. The moment it will be shipped, the money will be deducted. And of course, payment is split. It will be required for the companies who provide C2C services. So on the payment, somebody will go to the C or the customer will send, and somebody will go to the platform provider. So and the end customer is paying one money, I mean 100 taka, and 100 taka goes to the platform provider and some other account. So we are missing these things. And other services like SEO, software services, call centers. We have good companies in Bangladesh, but they will not be able to provide services for Bangladeshi companies. And of course, we have a lot of human resource, but not really skilled human resource to cater the need of e-commerce because really hard to do this. It's not so easy. It has a very complex mechanism, and when the e-commerce companies will mature, they will know. Large warehouses or places to keep the large warehouses in inventory management system, and the most important is probably the investment. We need a lot of money to make successful e-commerce business. And media support, because oftentimes the media they are very reluctant to provide support or make use of the Bangladeshi e-commerce businesses. Now some fear factors or some bad sides or challenges what people fear. Number one, I talked to about 10 e-commerce businesses, and trust me, nobody is making money. Nobody is making money. So that's the bad news, but good news is that everybody they believe that there is money at the horizon, although it's going away. But which chances do we need more investment? And some don't even introduce a review model. I wonder that some of the classification sites, they don't even have introduced a review model yet. So sometimes when you have peer competition, when it's a run towards zero. So that's a clear. Competition is good, but openly competition and rivalry or delaying monetizing is sometimes suicidal. And everyone is dissatisfied with delivery. So Hungary companies like Hungary, Rocco, they have already started their own delivery system, which is not good because if you have your own delivery system, you will have more cost, and that more cost translates to more price to the consumers. And it's not actually good for the economy, also not good for the competition. And finally, the cash on delivery. Probably invented that, we copied them, but my question is whether it's scalable. Can we really trust with our money? Uh, uh, can we trust the police? How long they are going to keep that money? Is it 7 days money, 10 days, 15 days, 1 month, 2 months? It's a small micro, but it will be $1 billion business, they will be billionaires. And their main business will be not be delivery, but investing that money for this others. About sourcing, I found this study and found that for Ecommerce, it's about Facebook commerce, 60% of the products are included. Is that a good news? Maybe, but what I believe is that they are actually thriving because they don't have to pay tax. So probably they are evading the tax, and that's how that their business is going. I mean, you cannot scale up, you cannot grow a business. Computer factor like that. It's not sustainable. Then another big players like Amazon, Flipkart, or Ninja will come and they take over the market. We need a lot of investment, and this is a business of winners takes all. I'll explain why later. And the cost of money is increasing every day. The money we spend today will bring less value. Will bring more value than money we spend tomorrow. And disadvantage for local player to advertising on local media. There is most of the advertising goes to the Facebook or Google, and for local players it's very difficult to send the money abroad or change the current pairs. So apparently the players will have the upper hand. So here are the tips. Okay, so I always do that. I'll give you some tips for the if somebody is there here. Yeah. So it's specifically Amazon. I read that from Delivering Happiness by Tony Hesh. It's three things basically: price, options, and delivery. So if you can make sure that your price is less, and if you can make sure that you have more options in your shop and delivery is good, then you are the winner. And how you make sure your price is good and how the winner take all thing. So it's a recipe like even making a loss, you offer lowest price to your customers. And when you offer the lowest price, customer will buy from you because customer really don't have any brand equity for the retailers. So they always find the lowest price. And that will translate to you have more market power. And then when you have more customers in your hand, you can always go to the seller or the people from whom you are sourcing and say that, look, I have this many customers. If you don't give me 10% discount more, I'm not going to sell your product. I'm going to sell your customers. So they will, intentionally give you more discount. And what Amazon do? what Amazon does is that they don't keep the discount, they pass it to the customers. So they even give more discounts to the customers. And by that, they actually even grab the market more and have the more market power to push the suppliers more. So this is a cycle, and it's a cycle which is suitable for people who have deep pocket. And through this, they become so huge that small players actually cannot sustain. So this is the recipe, so I am giving it to you, and people who are willing, please follow this. And ways to win the customers, surprise customers in a good way, under promise, over deliver, which we are not very good at. Be clear and concise, anticipate customer needs, empathize, and this is genuine and shorten your response. And I fear that some big players will come and say, okay, it's now time for wrap up and it's time for the big players. So what we can do? We should focus on retention because retention is cheaper than acquisition. Focus on a niche because if you can focus on a niche and make customers happy in a customized way, probably customers will stick. You can create a brand even being a retailer. Spend on marketing, I already mentioned that is cheaper than later. Look for investors and big investors. It is as investment incentive business as garments or textile. It's not for the small firms. And look for sustainability, like surviving only on tax breaks, foreign price, continuous ad on international media is not really sustainable. That's it. I can recommend you two books like Diabetes Stores, it's about Amazon, and Delivering Happiness, which is about Zappos, which is later acquired by Amazon. And that's it. Thank you very much for your patience.
I had a wonderful presentation, and I think like you got and he has touched on everything. So but I am pretty sure that people might have some different aspects to share. So at this moment, I would request Joseph Hayes, VP Masterclass. I think Joseph has a presentation. Okay, so if it's possible to just finish it in 10 minutes, it would be very if you want to start with a very brief introduction of your culture.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Joseph Hayes. I work for MasterCard, our ecosystem called MasterPass. So I'm not going to talk too much about MasterPass today. I'll give it one shameless plug at the end of my presentation, of course. But what I wanted to touch on is what MasterPass and more broadly speaking, what the payment schemes in general are hoping to do to reinforce some of the drivers of e-commerce and digital payments, and of course remove some of the barriers to e-commerce and digital payments. So with that, I need to set the context in order to establish what are these drivers and what are these barriers, and I guess in the Asia-Pacific context, so that we can look to that from the current state of Bangladesh digital payments. So we can see what's coming in the future and how you can emulate to a certain degree what has happened in other related Asia-Pacific markets over the last 5 years. So now let's take a snapshot of e-commerce or digital payments in the Asia-Pacific region. So you see on this chart, I know it looks quite complex, looking at the key takeaway that I want to make here is that on the ground, we see per capita in each market, 2013, and on the internet, basically the internet population. So the point here is there is a very strong correlation between the use of internet and e-commerce. So, for that India, I believe, and other markets. Many of the consumers who are now entering the e-commerce space, who are first-time e-commerce users, first-time making payments with e-commerce, they're actually doing it on a mobile device. The evolution is happening not like it did in the West. It is happening not from a desktop-based, browser-based e-commerce experience. It is happening from a mobile experience, first with a feature phone, and then an evolution to a broadband subscription on that mobile device, the smartphone, and then from there on to many different innovative use cases for making payments online. So key things I want to point out here. I want to identify the drivers and the barriers to e-commerce in the Asia-Pacific region over the last 5 years. First of all, let's talk about drivers. As I mentioned, internet penetration being on the rise and expanding rapidly in Asia-Pacific is a huge driver. So of the mobile subscriptions, this includes all feature phone and smartphone in Asia-Pacific. More than 30% of them actually have broadband subscriptions. So this shows that this number, it actually has, that percentage has grown 3 times since 2008, 3 times in size. So this shows that mobile is slowly advancing, or actually rapidly advancing, towards mobile broadband, which then brings with it e-commerce. So the second takeaway, consumer spend is growing. Obviously, the chart shows a strong correlation between internet penetration and consumer spend. There are a wide range of products available. So I think many of the gentlemen sitting on this panel can attest to that, and they're actually adding to the ability for people to shop online in Bangladesh. And lastly, convenient payment options. So this is where MasterCard comes in. This is where the schemes come in, and the banks as well. Pretty much every stakeholder in that payments value chain. This is where we can work together to drive the ability for consumers to make payments and actually remove some of these barriers that exist right now in emerging markets for e-commerce. So with that said, let's talk about the barriers. One key focus that I'm going to talk about for the next 5 minutes is security and integrity of online transactions, and also the convenience of online transactions. The second barrier is apprehension about product quality. I think in the previous presentation, we heard that consumers, they really, because of the infrastructure, perhaps the trust of the product, cash on delivery is very prevalent in the Bangladesh market, as well as many other markets in Asia Pacific. And lastly, the lack of quality logistics services. So I think the last presentation also touched on that quite a bit. So these are some of the key barriers for the entire region, not just for Bangladesh, and also India to an extent. So now I want to talk about what MasterCard and generally the payment schemes are doing to really remove the barriers related to security and convenience in the e-commerce space. And so we know that the cash is still king. We're still wanting to conduct a hybrid type e-commerce transaction where they order online and then pay cash. This is part of the solution to a very mature e-commerce state. And this is what is happening. And obviously, with digital payments being MasterCard's core business, we want to bring a lot of those payments into our network, into the payments network in general, so that effectively cash has been eliminated out of the system. Mostly security and convenience and trust. Those are the reasons why we think MasterCard payments and card payments in general are better than cash. So let's talk about the evolutionary state from where we exist now to convergence. So currently, the online experience in online payments is very distinct and siloed from the physical payment experience. So if you have a credit card or a debit card and you walk into a store, physical store to make a payment, you swipe or you dip your chip to make a payment. If you want to make an online transaction, you use that to type it into a website browser or use one of the hybrid use cases. These are very distinct, siloed ways to make payment, and there is very little overlap at this point in time. So we're moving into an inflection point, and actually in some markets we're already there at this inflection point, where there are hybrid use cases, like I mentioned, and also there are some very true convergence use cases that are evolving. And I'll give you one example of that. It is going into a store with your mobile device, smartphone, and being able to scan a QR code to make a purchase online for the merchandise that you want to walk out of that store with. I guess the reverse of that is for you to order something online, and when it's delivered, you use a mobile payment device to swipe or dip your credit card, or even make an online payment on the merchant tablet. So these are different ways that convergence is already starting to happen. And so what we see in the very near future by MasterCard is full convergence. This is where we think payments are going. This is where we actually want to push them to go for many reasons. This is ultimately the elimination of plastic cards, so that every payment transaction will be digital in nature and not based on plastic cards, and most certainly not based on cash. And now I'm going to tell you exactly how we're going to remove these barriers for security and convenience and help drive this evolution, not only in the very mature e-commerce market, but also in markets that are just starting out. So quickly, two infrastructure items that we are trying to create and to push and to build an ecosystem around. The first one is secure payment credentials across many devices. The second is a digital wallet infrastructure and an acceptance network that accepts these secure digital payment credentials. So the first way we're going to do this is we're working on what is called tokenization. So this actually is this functionality, this technology is available and live today in some markets. The U.S. is one example. Apple Pay is currently using our tokenization service to make payments securely, both at the physical point of sale and online. So what this means is that for every card number that is stored in an online facility, it is stored on a server somewhere by a merchant, by you and your account, by a bank. We will tokenize this using the MasterCard network, meaning that card number will only be stored by MasterCard, and we will produce multiple pens that map to that. Multiple other card numbers, personal account numbers that map to that. So one use case of this is that in your mobile device, you would have a card number stored on the device that you can go to a physical store and make payments with your mobile device through contactless terminals. But the number stored on that device is not your actual credit card number. It is a token that is based on your credit card number. Your card number is stored on MasterCard, stored very securely on MasterCard servers, and it is mapped to that actual token number. So that if any hacker were able to intercept that payment, it would be impossible for them to ever use it again. Because first of all, that token is and secondly, your device creates a cryptogram when it sends that token to any merchant. So that this card number, which is actually a token, is rendered useless. So this is how we will secure the payment infrastructure, secure the ecosystem, so that we no longer have this problem for hackers that we have currently with what's called card not present transactions. And secondly, we will also do this with the e-commerce payments. So this same technology, same security that is now happening with contactless payments, with contactless cards and mobile devices such as Apple Pay in the US as a use case. This will now be these same transactions, same messages and tokens will be sent to merchants via online channels. So that online transactions are equally as secure and safe as a physical point of sale transaction. So this is where the future is going, and we're already launching this technology in multiple Asia-Pacific markets this year. So this will effectively make e-commerce transactions more secure, and it will allow us to really concentrate our investment and our resources on building the ecosystem instead of fighting fraud. Two ways to store these tokens, actually touched on these. One is to store on your device. One is to store in a cloud-based wallet. And one example is a merchant, perhaps like Amazon. They currently are storing your card number on their server in Seattle. What tokenization will allow is for a player like Amazon to actually use the MasterCard network to release tokens on that server. So if there's ever a hack, an hacker will get tokens that are rendered useless for any other future transactions. And lastly, the way we see the ecosystem in the future, in the very near future, is that on the consumer side or the issuer side, we see multiple different types of wallets. We see bank-branded wallets. We see third-party wallets such as Apple, Google Wallet, maybe even Facebook. Being able to transact on an acceptance network that is in every possible type of acceptance. That's physical acceptance, in-aisle, online, pretty much anywhere where a certain acceptance mark is present. A mobile device with this wallet, either the credentials stored on the phone or in the cloud, will be able to make transactions at the percent. So effectively, we have increased security in the ecosystem, and we have increased the convenience of the ecosystem. These two factors are barriers to e-commerce as it stands today. And by eliminating these barriers, we increase the value of the system in general. It allows us, like I said, to focus our resources and our investments on increasing the ecosystem and building it up instead of fighting fraud. And just two quick use cases to kind of put this in a realistic framework to visualize what I'm talking about. One is contactless payment using a mobile device. So using this tokenization technology and digital wallet framework for acceptance, a consumer will be able to walk into a store, tap on their app, and use their mobile device to make a payment on a contactless device. So this is happening already. The next use case is for in-app or online. Very similar experience. The consumer, when they check out, will click on the acceptance mark. They will authenticate using their password or a PIN, and then they will simply be able to pay. And this payment will be completely secure. They'll be EU-like, meaning it's the same level of security as a physical point-of-sale transaction. Any questions on that?
I think we can take questions after the presentation, but I have got very quick query on something very query. Like, say for example, you know that in Bangladesh, at this moment, like, there are almost like 50 million or close to 20 million mobile wallet.
Yeah.
So, are you open to work with this kind of technology, tokenized technology, this mobile payment infrastructure, or it has to be kind of your own network? Only the MasterCard users can take this service.
So this service is actually the service will need to be in partnership with the financial institutions that issue payment instruments, payment cards. So credit and debit cards. So to answer your question, yes, it is MasterCard. The other payment schemes have very similar services that are all coming out. Apple Pay now works with MasterCard, Visa, and American Express, all using similar tokenization services to offer one aggregated payment service that is all based on the Apple device. So to answer your question, yes, it will need to be on MasterCard or one of the other networks. And the financial institution issuing the card will have to be on board and be partnering and connecting to the technology.
I think we can have more questions on that. So, at this stage, I would request Mr. Akshay Sonthalia, who is strategic development manager of Google Asia Pacific Limited. So, I was told that he actually probably wear two hats. One is obviously from Google, and he was an e-commerce entrepreneur. So, I live in India and in niche market. So, I would request Akshay to share his own experience at the same time, like what Google is thinking about the whole e-commerce new ecosystem. So I think you can just sit here for a second.
Thank you. Thank you everybody for having me here. We are very excited from Google to be in Bangladesh, and we are looking forward to investing in some of these markets. As far as e-commerce is concerned, as I guys said, I have two hats. So one is a personal hat, being an e-commerce entrepreneur myself. So that's an exciting journey. We did a women's beauty business in India, and we acquired in about 2 years of starting. So it was a very new concept where we used to sell a lot of interesting women's beauty products. So there were three problems that we are trying to solve. One was connection. So how do you get an entire range of goods across say 200 brands and maybe 20,000 SKUs to an individual? Because you go to any store today, you will have a limited selection. So how do you get say a Wish or a L'Occitane or a local branded product all under the same roof? So the range and the connection was one problem that we were trying to solve. The other problem that we were trying to solve was the leans. So how do you get products fast, securely, and predictably? Like, okay, I know that you can do this and get things in 8 hours. The third problem that we were trying to solve was the genuinity. Some of these very expensive products can be difficult to get in mass-produced versions of it in the market. So we were very careful in making sure that we are giving the genuine products to the customers. There are a lot of learnings from both aspects, and a few learnings were that logistics, and most of them were covered by Shai. All the bottlenecks and what you need to solve. Logistics, payments, sometimes even basic things like intent of the customer. I mean, sometimes. But a lot of these things were learnings, and we incorporated a lot of learnings. So, for example, I'll give you a very basic example. We used to sell nail polishes and lipsticks also, right? And women are very fussy about the color, and it's not my kind of red. So on the screen they saw a particular lipstick and they poured it, and when they get it, they say this is not the red that I saw on the website. Now that could be because of the resolution of our screen is different from the resolution of my screen. That could be for a few different reasons. It's just like the tilt of the laptop is different and the color looks different. How do you solve this? And you can't solve the customer's computer screen, right? So yeah, we actually then partnered with a physics professor. I don't know, it's one of the previous institutes. We partnered with him to solve this through physics. That okay, we have something called a gray calorimeter, some gray meter where you take the colors in a particular screen and you get it to a gray scale, which is like a neutral scale, and then calibrate it on what color it is. And you mark all the screens in your entire company to that gray scale, so that everybody seeing the same color. And then the product and the screen shows the exact same color. So at least you know that the error is solved at your end. And how the problem is solved. So because in that one, even in your screen, different catalog managers and we were acquired, so that was a good journey, and then I joined Google. In Google, the business that I look after is the SMB business, and e-commerce is at the heart of it. We want all the merchants to come online, even if they're not in e-commerce. If they're offline merchants, or a shoe seller, or a designer, or everybody. I think everybody deserves and needs a chance to come online and sell his products and services. We're doing a lot of work to try to achieve that. So we partnered with a lot of companies, or we equip them to strategic inputs, to technology, to marketing, to outreach, so that they can get a lot of these small and medium businesses online. I can't take names, but and of course, Bangladesh has not really started. So, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here to talk to a lot of people and find out what's going on and see if we can do this whole program of reaching out to small and medium businesses, getting them online in Bangladesh. I'm very excited to be here. And over the past 2 days, all the discussion I had, it only tells me that we should become here faster than what I originally thought. So I'll be going back with a lot of messages, a lot of learnings, and very excited to see all the dynamism and entrepreneurship in Bangladesh. And I'm hoping that thousands of businesses will come online, harness the power of online, and reach out to not just the Bangladeshi customers, but the entire world.
Thanks, like, very quick query, like, when you're talking about, like, connecting the SAP players, bringing them online, are you thinking about anything like, marketplace itself, like Taobao or something like that, or is it like only they come here and use your platform there?
No, so
Are you becoming your own Google platform?
no. So just to clarify, and I was asking that question, we want merchants to harness the power of digital. We ourselves, when we start becoming a marketplace or an e-com platform or providing e-com technology, we are talking primarily in terms of marketing and visibility. And I can give you several examples. One of the examples that comes really in my mind is of niche services, and everything is really e-commerce. So there is some of these religious tours that happen in many countries, where people go like every year or twice a year, tours are organized. There is this small tour operator in Ahmedabad of city of India, a very small tour operator. And one of our partners is approaching that, why don't you offer your services through a website? And he used to do this Kailash once over Yatra, where like 20,000 or 30,000 people go every year. It's organized by the government. And nobody even knew that he did something like that. And his revenue grew 200x only by advertising and telling the people that he does something like that. Because these are niche services, people don't even know that my neighborhood tour operator organizes those services. So it's about visibility, it's about telling the world that you do this. And Google has a lot of advertising solutions which are suited for SMB that you can start with a very, very small budget and do that. So there are AdWords and display and search, and the cost is very, very low. So it's not that it's meant only for the big boys. It's meant for small boys, do it yourself. I have done it myself even before coming to it. Super easy. And then you have a lot of partners who help.
Okay, just for kind of like when we discuss your discussion, it might actually come up. I think like you better probably take note that probably 90 or 95% of the ad spend by the local e-com players are now actually going in your to your competitor. So I think there is huge ad market for you. So like probably Google might have underestimated the potential already in this.
Facebook is a great platform. We love Facebook. Having said that, yes, that was one of the insights that I got after visiting a lot of people here. If you're not on the internet, Bangladesh don't exist.
Facebook has become internet.
Yes. So, very interesting. So today, I called up my mom in the morning in Bangladesh. She wants something. So my mom says, Bangladeshi Kamhani sarees are very famous. And everyone. I tried to search on Google, and all I got was 10 Facebook results. I said, wow! Facebook.com / some merchant's name / some merchant's name selling Jamali. There's so much to be done here. So I just think that's very, very well taken. And that's what excites us, that people are really wanting to do, but probably there are not enough evidence for them to carry it out. It's a little complex because running an ad is easy, but running it optimally at the right price is probably a little more complex than it may seem. So, as we want to enable partners who have that expertise to help small businesses.
Thanks. So we can discuss it further. I now request Martin, to share his kind of views because in the presentation of China, he had also classified, and he was like hinting that they are probably spending too much without any strong revenue model. So the question would be, what type of maybe morally, but I want to get these specific issues. Whatever you can share on these things, and at the same time, do you think yourself as also an e-commerce player, like in that was type of content, or it is much more very much like a C2C?
Thank you. Thank you all for your very interesting presentations. You laid out the broad challenges of e-commerce. Very complex. So speaking of people, first of all, the revenue model. For the last, I would say, 10 months, we have implemented revenue-based model at Ecommerce. And I would say that's the largest challenge for most free websites or free online portal that's establishing themselves for the first time in the online sphere. With that, I mean moving from a free version to a freemium version is very challenging because you do not want to throw out all your users at one time. Because as soon as you start to charge for your services that previously was free, you will lose out of your big user base. So what Pico.com is doing as of today, we are earning money from advertisements, exactly like Bottom or BDUs24. We have big corporates that is investing money on marketing, like Google or FunHubing or any of the banks. So that's one revenue stream that we have that is in place. Second, another revenue stream that we have in place is premium services for mainly small and medium business owners. For example, if you have a car showroom, you can buy a premium service plus for 3.95, and your ad will get significantly more visibility. Basically, you get 10 times more inquiries if you buy one of those products compared to if you only post a free ad. So that's how we move forward. So those are the two revenue-based models that we have in place as of today. And given that we continue with the growth that we are doing, more revenue streams will come. It's extremely interesting market to be in. And, as long as we maintain our position as a C2C brand, we remain to drive traffic. Because that's how Facebook drive traffic. Their main revenue streams is from business users, not private individuals. So as long as we continue to brand ourselves as a C2C platform, we also have all the users to the website, and we eventually also earn revenue from the small and medium businesses as well as the big corporates. Absolutely. So I think that you mentioned a very, very important point for to grow e-commerce marketing knowledge. One is mobile. That's the growth we will see. If you look in Bangladesh only 3-4 years back, about 60 or 70% of the data traffic in Bangladesh was on desktop devices, meaning laptops or PCs inside the office. But now it's almost 85% mobile devices, and the rest is desktop devices. So for people at home, the whole online community is mobile first. We're not only mobile first, it's mobile only. That's how we develop our development organization to only focus on mobile user experience. And within a few years' time, people at home will be a website, will be an app, only an app. That's how people use us. So desktop will completely disappear. It will be a very, very small percentage of our users on the site.
It's interesting. Probably for interesting, not much more, but probably very evident. So it's quite interesting to discuss those things in the already session. Now, we all know that the role of kind of payment. We know that still the COD is the mainstream payment thing, and even in India, I think like in India it's almost like 60-70%. COD, like in your case, it was predominantly COD. Okay. So I think like I think this is probably one kind of driver of the whole ecosystem. So we have got two players, two panelists actually who work very closely in this area. So I would first request Mr. Nadim Rahman, who is the CEO and Senior Vice President of Payza Partner. Payza has already launched its own kind of digital wallet type of success. So probably share kind of services and products, and also your kind of insights on what is going on now and what should be expected in the future.
Thank you, Tom. So thanks for attending this seminar. A little bit background on what VISA is and how it all came about. I started about 5 years back on this to try to understand what is lacking in the payments environment. There are a lot of players, a lot of very good people who have been doing a lot of good work. But one of the things that I came across over and over again, that aggregation of payments does not equal a true payment system. And I spent about a good 2-3 years after that, and we tried a few concepts, products, market products, and at the end, we decided as the appropriate agent on this that is required that we bring in this is what we consider a true e-wallet system. Now, it is a bank-like model at this moment, and I think our foreseeable future will remain that way. But essentially, those of you who are familiar with PayPal, Visa is basically a carbon copy of PayPal. Now, there's a distinction to be made there. PayPal is pretty big in the US and globally. Visa basically did not want to take PayPal on head on and say that we're going to challenge you for the market in North America. Instead, they want to have some niche markets. Nonetheless, the stats are the following. Visa as a global product is doing about $10 million of revenue. It is selling in 192 countries. And it's the first wallet system that actually allowed Bangladeshis to have a Bangladeshi address and put in the wallet. And that's been going for a long time. So is required for the actually in the marketplace. So you get back for the need of the Bangladeshis. First of all, language is one issue. We had to incorporate in volume. The second was that, given the directives of the central bank, it had to be a currency model. So, in other words, you could bring money from outside in, but not supposed to be stays within that loop, which is something that most wallet companies overseas don't understand because it's a very unique requirement from Bangladesh. Talk about so where we customize the product, connected to the core. Based on the back end, it actually sophisticated. This is for many years quite well. Their fraud matrix, their fraud matrix department, compliance department, there's about 200 to 300 people working in the company. And they've actually been doing this type of stuff for many years. So that's the business power that we wanted to bring into Bangladesh to provide a actual payment system that hopefully people would take on. The interesting thing that I found that the integration of payments into websites, for example, if you wanted to put a buy now button, you wanted to have seamless integration, you want to have a host of different types of services that most merchants type for. In Bangladesh, what I found, and I may be wrong, if I am, please do forgive me, what I found is that integration process was a real challenge. It was a real challenge. And I could not understand that why would not someone have full documentation, full APIs, full resource, a sandbox testing area, and allow for merchants to just download, plug and play, let people plug and play, as we do in the West. I don't have to really worry too much if I want to integrate something into my system. I just go to PayPal or I go to Visa, pretty much it. This may be one of those ones as a business unit that's out there. I don't have to call anybody. I don't have to make an appointment with anybody. I just download a bunch of APIs. If I'm tech savvy, I'm going to do it myself. I'll just do it. But it should not be a barrier. And that barrier, I think, in my humble opinion, is probably what has, I guess, I wouldn't say prevented, but the market could go very fast if that barrier was not there. So coming back to the product that I'm extremely passionate about, we'll see what happens in the future. we've been in beta for about the last 2 months, and we've seen an exponential rise in user base. It's really BC's love, the hockey stick effects, and we see it. The adoption from sign-ups to people activating it, to people actually connecting their bank account, the conversions are also extremely high. So the initial, view is extremely promising, and we're planning to actually come out of beta within the digital week that we are here. And you guys can check it out. Page.com, you'll have on Bangladeshi page homepage. We'll take it for a ride.
I would now request another of our payment industry.
Actually, I'd like to touch on a few topics to talk about some of the challenges that we have faced when we launched our business commerce back in 2010. So, when we launched, the pickup rate was very low. So, like 60 to 70% cards were getting rejected because the banks are actually not opening up, not leaving their cards for online transaction. So it was a big challenge for us. So what we did actually, went door to door to every bank, talk to the hero cards, hero IDs to open these cards for e-commerce transactions. So what we found out that the banks are actually concerned about the security of opening these cards for e-commerce transactions. So that's why these cards are blocked. So how I want to tell you the story how have we tried to break this barrier. So what we did actually, we then went to Visa, MasterCard, and talk to them that how we can actually come out of this barrier. How can we convince these banks to come on board and book these cards for e-commerce transactions? So what we found out that there's a concept called two-factor authentication, 2FA, that is what it actually is. It provides a second factor authentication to the cardholders who are actually using it for the payment in the e-commerce site. So we started talking with a party that's called CA Technologies, US-based, and who actually acquired Orchard. Orchard is a platform of ACS, which actually provides this two-factor authentication to cardholders. So we actually brought them into Bangladesh, and we have signed them up with several banks, but actually these cards started to open up. So I want to share a story. We have a merchant called Harinaki.com. So the transactions for Harinaki actually went more than double when actually SCV started this two-factor authentication with us. So what happened? The SCV cards were blocked. All these 2 million cards they have are all blocked because of security reasons. So when we enable their cards for two-factor authentication in partnership with CA.
When did they open it?
They opened it like 6 months back. So what happens that these 2 million cards, when they became available in the e-commerce space, actually doubled. So it's a good prospect. There are still several other banks where cards are still not open, and we are actually trying to break this barrier, trying to keep them on to two-factor authentication and convincing them to please open your cards, because if there are customers who come online and try to pay for something, and if his card is getting rejected, it's a dissatisfaction for the customer. So this customer will be not convinced to do this on the second time. We are very being a payment gateway for merchants and being serving like 300 merchants. We are very concerned about this issue. So we don't want this kind of dissatisfaction to go in our customer base. So We are actually still spearheading these projects that we have to enable two-factor authentication for all these card issuers in Bangladesh, and hopefully this rejection rate will decrease and right now it is like 30 to 40%.
It was like
67%.
1 year it has come down.
Yes.
And like say for example, the IBICC or any other bank, instantly increase something for you. Unfortunately for the users that they apply for the on here. In fact, SCB has one more way it open for all the users and
Yeah, what happens is if the new user comes, you are not actually on to the two-factor authentication system. When you go to the payment page and when you actually enter your cards, the SCS page will come up and it will have you register all that.
even people go to
It's quite user-friendly, and what they do is that actually most of these banks are using OTPs. Like if your phone number is registered to your bank account, you see a password and you can just enter it and just do the payments.
what is very important and it doesn't know that. Like rejection is I know a lot of the markets were well thought. And if
Yes.
Okay, thanks for that. Now we have another e-commerce player, Rajiv Roy, who is the CEO of Banner.com, who actually operates from here. So we have a one player, and we have players. But Rajiv is also very closely associated with in kind of e-commerce things in Middle East. So I think a lot of interesting things also happening. So you can also share of
I'm Rajiv from the brand owner in Dubai, and we have a software business actually in Dubai, and we have another software on which we are operating the brand actually from Chicago, but our customer is in Dubai. So this is one scenario we are really surprised that our 98% sales is we're really surprised. Our cash delivery, all the for the whole country, but the main consumer is in this is surprising actually. Even in the Middle East, no other country can this kind of situation. All country almost distributed in the similar capital is bigger, but this is surprising everything. I'm just going back to the talk about something new. What is the next coming up actually? And also, by this company, you know, there's some big players there. One side also. So they're coming there, they're trying to put a business in Dubai. So what they're trying to bring, and also the US companies, and also new company, what they're trying to bring in the e-commerce. So I'm just going to tell you first about the social commerce. Even the Mark Zuckerberg, so he also said that the next business is the social commerce. Then you see Amazon now, lots of people actually saying. So whenever you are trying to buy any product, it will show you how many of your friends like this product, how many of your friends actually bought this, and the recommendation is from your friends. So what happens is a human nature. So whenever you see your friend bought this thing and your friend says, okay, this is a good one, so you should buy. So what is happening? So the social commerce actually help the e-commerce industry to sell. It is actually very so just think about whenever you are going for a different, so you want for a 19 somebody special. So what you are going to do, you are going to ask somebody which is the best place to go. So if the e-commerce is telling you the same thing, that okay, this is a good place and let's do that, this is a good price, let's buy this thing, so you should do it. So this is the new thing, and I'm a little bit surprised actually. Still, lots of sites is not implemented. I'm not sure actually implemented on all the sites, but they need to do it. Another one, customer relations. So what happens? So I'm going inside. The site need to know who I am. I need to collect all my information. So while I'm signing up the site, maybe I'm signing or Google account. From there, you can easily detect what kind of people I am. based on my likes, based on my my posts, based on my image. Lots of things is there which can easily detect. Also, the site should have some tracking tools. So which page I am going actually, how people come on the site, which product actually, the site can actually understand what type of people I am, what thing I am doing. So this is the personalization. So whenever I see a product, the other product should be based on my requirement, based on my personality. Not suppose I'm someone product and it's showing me something different product I'm not interested. So it's not give you some information to buy. So it's not provoke you to buy anything. So this is the one model already told the next generation in the Bangladesh is mobile. Even if you are saying what I see actually on our side, around 85% people actually are on our side on the mobile. So what we did actually, we launched actually 5 months before. Our site is very new site. Uh, but what happens the first 2 months, we see that lots of people are coming to the mobile, and our site was not very much mobile friendly. We just make a responsive site, not very big way. So that we changed it recently from this January, we just changed the whole site. So whenever people are coming on the mobile, they can see some different views than the normal site view. And what happened actually, see, at the same time, we see the grammatical going on. People love to actually buy from the mobile. And when they see that it's very mobile friendly, they can buy easily, they love it. So this is the big thing. The Bangladesh especially is a very, very big thing. And what is it actually in future maybe the Italian people application, only a mobile application or tablet application. Customer support, another big thing. This actually started in the Middle East, different kind of customer support. Not everybody actually. The customer support means we have to call the customer, we have to phone them, we have to talk with very good way. And customer support is something in different way. So whenever you're going in super shop, you take a product and at the same time you can see that somebody simply comes there and telling the details about this product. Only the details of the product is written there. But why that people is not that actually? So it's actually people love to listen from a person, not from a written text. So that's thing happening in the e-commerce. So how is possible? Because it's a site. You are coming on a site and there is some images in there, some description in there. So how can you talk with that guy actually? Because you are not there. They are outside. So the live chat system is very clever actually you know. So what happens? So whenever you are coming on this page, automatically because the live chat is already there and company knows that you are on this product. And automatically the live chat will start up and you automatically say that sir, do you want to buy this thing? So this kind of thing, you can get this kind of discount for this product, or if you have any question for this thing, ask. So this is happening in every market in the Dubai now. So just think about this thing. So instead of a physical person, a live person is going there, and you can directly chat with them, and you can ask if you have any doubt of the product, you can chat with them. So it makes the customer more reliable. This is the product, this is I'm looking for. But if it is not the right product, I just choose other product. And also the live chat are suggesting you to choose some other product. So that's the new generation, new thing is coming up. But this is still not present in the Bangladesh market. This needs to be actually implemented. I think it is a very, very clever. Operation management system. What is not actually? So some news actually we never actually news. I'm not telling the name actually. They say actually we can't say their name. What happened? So initially before when they launched, every so they have one set, and suddenly they see that this amount is going to 200 to 300, and then one day it happened around 600 they are going to sell. So they have a limited manpower, they have a limited operation people. So how they can manage this? So that's what they are trying to include this because they are not able to hire a lot of people. It's very costly to hire people in the Middle East market. So they are not going to do this. They change their whole system. They change the whole management system. How the operation is managing. It's more automated system. They are treating in their own way, not like our commerce or in WordPress side or some other, they have their own operation management system. Whatever people buy, the system is automatically being lost to what. So what happens? The manpower is going low. Not too much, and then we need a good level of support. So this operation management is very important. Also, CRM system, customer relationship management. So it's very important actually to know our customer, to support them. So if you want to support for any customer, we need to know that what they're doing, what they're doing, and what to purchase before, what is the customer actually, is it feeling good about us, or how we deliver the product, how much data is coming from. We need all these detailed information. But what happened actually? So, Rockstar CRM system is their Salesforce is their big, is their channel is there. So that's not actually built for e-commerce. That's built for your normal services, normal company, but not for the e-commerce, especially. So that's the new kind of CRM system that's developing, which can take all of your details, all of your operations, whatever you are trying to do, everything it can do. So this is the thing actually. I think in Bangladesh company also, all these companies, so they need to also integrate this kind of things to be the support more better way, more informative way. And it helps actually, it helps the business. So whenever you are doing this kind of thing, the business is automatically going up. Okay, Rajiv, no actually, so this is almost everything, and thanks. Thank you, so nice.
Sharing a lot of good kind of suggestions for the e-commerce. We can of course discuss it in the open discussion. Now, our last panelist and very important panelist, Mr. Shakka Thailand. Shakka Thai has been a long industry veteran, so he has been in cases, number of cases. Currently, he is the director of BICC. He also can probably one from the kind of IT industry and also as a kind of industry head for the general overall trade and commerce of the country. So, what I can ask him about that. Now IT industry people are quite excited about the whole thing, like we're talking about, we're having second countries. But is the excitement also kind of clear outside IT? Sometimes I think that our other industry, they are not that kind of very much into the whole kind of going around. Like, so, what do you think about the whole kind of perception there, and what should be the role of our e-commerce enterprise to excite them in the current day?
So, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Connie. What I've done is a big favor because he has allowed all the other speakers to talk about their points where you mentioned the requirement, what would really is this being and the is humongous. There's no two ways about it. So, as introduced me as part of the Federation of Bangladesh Business. What I'd like to say is the FBC, the Federation of Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industries, is basically the voice of the private sector, which basically talks to the government on behalf of the private sector. So it's extremely important. What Finance said is that are we working like a silo within the IT industry space, or is it beyond them? So what I like to say in answer is basically what's happening is people hear about it. There's going to be a sustainable awareness campaign. It should be restricted to IT guys or to IT guys. It's got to be meant for the consumer, people, the citizens of this country. That really hasn't happened. There's more like when we talk about what has been discussed all today is how this technology can go forward, what are the advantages, what are the prospects, which way the world is moving, we're talking about all these things. But as I said, the citizens need to be aware of it. We are a nation which has a majority of youth, which is going to be going forward the future leaders of this country, the future users of this country. And when we talk, like my friend over here, Faisal mentioned that integration was a challenge. Somebody else mentioned something else as a challenge. But this challenge can only be overcome, number one, which is a very general word, but awareness, number one. And when I say awareness, I'm not talking about when we talk about the citizens of Bangladesh, it can comprise of both the private sector and the public sector. So when the government comes into play, whatever we do, we need the government along with us. So I don't think I'm wrong in saying that clear policies, clear guidelines are still missing. So although the Bangladesh Bank, because we're talking in terms of financial involvement, is there, but at this point in time, I'm afraid they're not fully on board in terms of what needs to be done. My personal view is they need to be a little more aggressive, talk to people in the industry. Finance is a very, what should I say, very critical thing to handle. So obviously, I understand the concerns about any kind of unfortunate incident when it happens with the transaction. But you can't be overcautious, if I may use that word. Reason I say that is when you're talking about technology, when you're talking about security, I don't think when you think of people like the Pentagon and many other installations like that, if they can be penetrated, we are nobody. Okay? So I add this as a note of caution in the sense that we can do it, we should go as fast as we can, but in a structured manner. What is happening is, obviously, when there are opportunities, the people of Bangladesh, the youth of Bangladesh are very adventurous, very entrepreneurial. I must say that once again, emphatically. But, for example, right now, we have something like, which has already been mentioned, that more Facebook users than internet users. If I make distinction. And something like, on paper, around 500 e-commerce sites. The learned keynote speaker already mentioned, maybe not admitting, but most of them are bleeding. Okay. On the other hand, there are 3,000 Facebook, 3,000 pages of Facebook available. So it's personal right to go. So again, I'd like to say, on behalf of all our members here and on behalf of the private sector, because the Federation of Bangladesh is the voice of the private sector, it has been very interesting and very knowledgeable to hear about what has been discussed here. And on behalf of the BICC, I'd like to take it forward and take it to the heart of the decision. Very much.
Thanks, Dr. Mike. Very reassuring that the state of it giving quite high priority on this particular issue. Now it's the time for the discussion. We have heard a lot of interesting things from our panelists and the keynote speakers. So I'm pretty sure that some of you might have got some queries on the kind of issues that we discussed, or you might have some specific comments. So we have only kind of 10 minutes time before we wrap up. So how many of you want to make a question or a comment? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So like I said, with you, like you can introduce yourself and be very precise.
I my question to Mr. About Google's policy in Bangladesh. We know Google has advantages like Google Maps and location services. So why they are introducing themselves as a pioneer in the e-commerce side to locate that business. Suppose I am a business owner and Google has apps like My Business. So why they are not promoting these kinds of apps in Bangladesh? It would be very easy to categorize My Business. So, yes.
Right, great point and great suggestion. Few things to note here is that Google Maps is almost an open thing and anybody can use it and it's free. A lot of companies and businesses use it for tracking. And Google doesn't necessarily restrict it. So for example, a Uber the gap service, you really know where the gap is exactly on the planet to a precision of maybe years. And that's all on Google Maps. So it's possible to do it. A lot of logistics companies use it. I'm not a Google Maps guy, which company and which team. So, but I think there are maps tickets which you can apply for and get access to, and then you can use those different services. Special individual packages, the challenge is that usually individual packages don't go alone, they travel in bunches. So they do not make economic sense. So they all the packages traveling all together. So how do you really put GPS on each one of those packages to track? There are so many things, but I don't see reason why that will not happen in the GDPR or something. Each packages right now. I mean, I'm not going to reach home by the time the creator comes.
Right. I want to go back, I guess. Oh, I'm sure this is the biggest of the or everybody know our e-commerce in exhaustion challenges. India started this market, and this market is very popular in this because all sides customer consumer payment in this market. But our country in this situation, I think e-payment in e-commerce, Mastercard, it's only sophisticated users but in rural area and area, people do not know this Mastercard design. So I think in future there are many challenges in future because BICC, UCB, and debit card. These there are very many cards started in payment. But one type of payment we started and very easy for our customer because we are in seasonal kind of cost. Because usually difficult sometimes helping customers because in the fact user that application and the payment problem in this sector is very I thought we can give a question to just like I don't like can you give some smart kind of concept? I know that there are some kind of important for this, but how that can be integrated with other payment systems. So
what is the problem trying to be solved here?
I'm not very sure. I think there's obviously one issue about multiple payment systems, like mobile payment.
Right.
And also one thing for he mentioned is about the inclusiveness, like and probably in our context, not more people have got this Mastercard or Visa issued by banks because a lot of the people are unbanked. They don't have any, and banks normally don't actually give this credit card, Visa Mastercard to people who are kind of have got income level much below than what is required. So how can inclusiveness problem can be solved, particularly for different areas?
Right. I think there are two potential solutions for this. One solution is is mobile phone payments, particularly in feature phones, that is prevalent in South Asia. Is to let me up here a little bit to set the context for this. So there are many of these players, and they exist in every region of all of the developing world. And what MasterCard is doing is connecting these different one global network that using MasterCard network. So that is one way to reach that is one way to reach, I guess, more rural areas where the demographics are in place or the financial infrastructure is not in place for these constituents to be targeted to actually have a payment instrument. So that's one way is through mobile payments, and I think there's probably a lot that has to really develop this ecosystem. So it's in a very fledgling state right now in many markets. It's one thing that we are developing to build financial inclusion. And secondly, and this has to do with bank issue cards, but one potential solution is prepaid cards. The use of prepaid, either virtual prepaid, probably more likely virtual prepaid, stored on a mobile device or in the cloud. So those who may not qualify or even have the ability to get to a financial solution in order to issue a card, have the slow that solutions and how these solutions are in rural areas. Those are good solutions for financial inclusion.
My name is I just want to that question. We have talked so much about a lot of things in general. What is English e-commerce market? What is the market size and what is the growth rate? Like why is there? I think he has made some kind of what is about the existing market? Existing like what I can share, but I think like what we from basic very kind of was general e-commerce like size not too Facebook size. I would say that it was 15 crore, which is very annual. What is months ago, now it might be almost people. I think the kind of existing market is quite low with regard to the product. And as whole, only 10% of the total retail that yeah, I think is 1 to 2%. Probably so and even if Bangladesh if I have 1% or even 1% of the transaction, I think the number would actually like 1 to 2. So we said for 1 billion is something like 100 million or something like that. They want to be like
by dividing that. So, and another thing that it should be around 1.2. It is the current, but it has even more potential because more and more people move from offline, and there is no reason in every business person should not be interested to get into this business.
Yes, e-commerce entrepreneur.
Hello, I'm Faisal. I'm the e-commerce side. I'm selling unique and getting on. So I have using or customer. Actually, delivery because actually we are doing also most of delivery.
See, here can break it into two parts. One is efficient use of cash and we grow. You want to eliminate inefficiencies. Can you eliminate inefficiencies rather than eliminating cash on delivery? And break it up into two parts. Improving efficiency. So one of the is all your practice technology. So that we have time order in the way where the cash collection will and you get an other things that you can do to very basic customer education. A lot of the emerging issues around issues are there. So think about
Is it like new breed of kind of logistic companies who actually came to serve this market?
there were a whole lot of new companies that and there were existing companies here and this is a big thing they do logistics. So both were happening. Some very all start very large in scan deliver on deliver and payment wallets are becoming big. Come at more than like $2 only. So it's bound to shift. More than 200,000 online recharge transactions are happening by one particular site alone. So if you can do a mobile recharge by pay, can you more or less same, right? It's just an illusion. Here you are getting the product instant money in public days. So that deficit of 2 days you need to bridge that there. Good customer service, good return, so forth.
Sure. So
Another content being is the most challenge for e-commerce sector actually. Recently, like eBay, Amazon, or Alibaba. So how you solve it?
Content means product.
Your traffic and others.
Good. problem and markets with this. That I can only will not big company. For example, penalize you on SEO for not having original content, and if you're not up there, if you're not being able to be found, it's difficult. So and markets evolve. Your competitors with the systems to figure out. Then it's difficult to block you or this, and you are finding those kind of problems rather than trying to do business. So it's not sustainable. It's not scalable. You should engage your own to do these. So how can you take it to 1,000 products in a catalog? That is so you or try to filter things.
Okay. পরিচয়টা দিয়ে শুরু।
I am Narayan Chandra from Ecommerce Institute of Development Studies. Actually, some IT for technology transfer from developed countries, and that's why Okoy, for you present, I'm asking you to the been asked to incentivize the companies and companies got technology, or is it against their interest?
Can we focus on e-commerce?
Hey, e-commerce. I'm talking about that is development like this. The schools willing and
that's a very valid question. We are trying to do our bit by launching ways to use products which can get businesses online. The reason solution problems of getting business only if they're about visibility. If you do a website page, they don't have a transaction, all of your problems are secondary. The first basic problem is, do they even exist on the internet? So solve that. And we are trying to do things. There is something called Google My Business. Honestly, I'm not sure of that product's status, but launched in many. It's super easy to use. So you select your category, select your geography, select some of the specific or 15 or 20 of product keywords that you think point location, business location on Google Maps, do very basic English technology, and you then that okay, this mobile number is actually yours, this location yours. So validation button online web, and then what you click of a button, you can say, oh, start using, and Google ad will start. Have given no technology, no sophistication, very simple, easy to use. So a bit to maybe understand that are not as sophisticated as things need come market and easy for everybody to use.
Okay, Devashish.
I don't think Devashish for Deal.com. It's into working in Bangladesh. So we have been working here from 2011.
Actually, I had questions, so one has been already answered, and we know that every one of us are facing I mean, the aging problem. So here, and we're every day, and I'm sure that this is for the time being. But I have a very specific question to Akshay or Rajiv Dai, anybody you can answer for that. That as a marketplace model, we are bound to provide a platform to our merchants to offer a similar product. If it is a similar product, merchant can be more than that, like Amazon is doing also. If the product is X and merchants are more than 5x, so don't you think that in compare with that for market in the our general consumers might be confused to select the right price and right product because the same product and has my different prices and different merchants. So I need your, real experience based suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, I think you also the marketplace is just beside me. So how your consumers, particularly for BigCroy consumers, have actually faced this problem? Because I am pretty sure that whenever a person who's treated to buy anything comes to, he will sort of kind of same product by and in different prices. So what is the has been the experience on this thing?
So I'm not 100% sure your question. Can you repeat the
Say for example, I want to buy a kind of iPhone 4. So I want to go to big.com and I see that hundreds of sellers with the same features. So as a consumer, am I getting like rather than making it simple for me, is it making it complex to take the buying decision? And how like marketplaces can like you can actually solve the problem?
Thank you for clarifying that. So I would say for Bitcoin, a lot of what they do when it comes to window shop. They don't buy anything. They just compare. So if you have a Corolla 2008, you can search for it and all have listing available. You can, if you phone calls, you can visit the person or the private video who's selling and basically make a decision rather than going to one for you. I think that we saw a very transparent marketplace. I had a friend of mine a while back who bought Toyota Corolla actually for 15 lakh taka, and when he told me the price was what 11 lakh available Bitcoin, and that point is anything for consult Bitcoin. Yeah, exactly.
So that's actually and it solves over a period of time. One of the basic fundamentals is if you're marketplace product service and you penalize bad products and services. So in terms of review ratings, in terms of how do you publish the options and employ technology to do that, so that good merchants who are genuine are in whatever form, and I don't necessarily mean monetary form, showing them above the ones that have poor rating or as under right. I mean, that's the maybe my
Actually, Dubai is I'm talking about .com and Jado. So the marketplace, they clever way in some way, actually not way. So what they are doing, they have a supply and they can't place a number of figures selling. Make a level of this is the price. They have to mention this thing. And what is doing the Jado soup? They are saying which is selling price lower, and that price showing not the other product. And every supplier they have a contract and sell max this amount of product. Doing this lower, they are limit. They're stopping this up. They're trying. If that other supply still start talking with the other side that okay, you can't give this price. We have to pay in some different way. In this way, so when you are going to you can't see the same product in a two place, but whenever you are ordering, you can see that okay, the product is coming from the different supplier, and so it's not confused, and it's a very suppose even Amazon, whenever you are buying a try such a product, you can see the same product 4 or 5 things, and it's really everyone. So and solving the different.
Any other queries? You have very quick.
Suppose I want to start a course business. So I have already all technologies as I am a technological guy.
Right.
So now next is financing and some logistic part, which is related to the business, obviously. And also, if you are a member of BICC, so what is the plan to currently?
Okay. Quick answer is essentially, as I said, EBICC is the private spokesperson, and there's a government. And you're talking about financing. It starts with government, comes up with the private sector. Quickly, I'll explain. Government has an entrepreneur equity fund, which is distributed, disseminated through will go to EF banks. It'll be analyzed and found appropriate. It'll be funded. That's how it is at this point. Thank you.
I probably can, because Shafkat Bhai is also member of the approving body of EF, so he can also, he knows, you probably can also talk to him after the seminar. Like the quick suggestion I give, like, your business fast at a certain level. I take can to give you anything. So unless you have got at least not only business plan, but probably a solid business, like you must have an office, you must have some kind of operation or some kind of track record, then of course you can apply that thing. So otherwise no bank or even EF will not actually entertain you. So I think down my, you prove your commitment, then you can.
I just want to add one thing. As you mentioned, I sit on the Apple board. What we encounter all the time is, with all respect to all my young friends here, this business plans, which I just mentioned, and he said, no, you have to go below that, is this mostly, unfortunately, a cut and paste job. You have not thought of the market, it's your wish, but when you ever think of the business, you have to think, how big is the market? What portion of the market can I address? These are issues which come up, and we find that because of this cut and paste issue, not well thought out plans, they get rejected. I would advise everybody very strongly to carefully think what they want and analyze what's around. Coming back to absolute basics when we talk technology, if you the business intelligence, you'll get the right answer.
So I'm aware. Any question, more question? So I don't know, like I probably can take only one. So we have some from, I think, Diamond World, who is going to hit us with some diamond all the audience.
So, and other seniors.
Very quickly.
Is there any news about starting of PayPal in Bangladesh?
I can give this from the kind of association side. There is no news, and this probably like suggestion would be not expected soon on this particular aspect. So like on a kind of broader level, I know that there are companies, of course, like Google and Facebook and other big companies, including PayPal. So I think we need to make our kind of whole economy or digital economy vibrant enough to attract companies. Like we have got Australia, and they are obviously very much looking into it. But I'm pretty sure that unless the but we have got few things. We've got the numbers, no doubt about it. We have got 160 million people out of 40 people are using internet. Only we are using internet only to just connect with our Facebook friends. Also doing a lot of things. If we those things that we use in for economic activity, payments, and other things, I'm pretty sure companies like Google and PayPal would actually seriously look into the thing, because at the end of the day, they are not going to come here just as a kind of social purpose. They obviously Google has a lot of social initiatives. Even Facebook has a lot of social initiatives, but for serious business decisions, investment decisions, I think we need for real economy need to actually prove itself. So far, I know that we are still a little bit kind of, though, because a huge number of population is there, but still the transactions and economic activity based on so once we prove that, they will come in own way. Okay, so we have got one lady, so I can't actually say no to her. So, so Samira, quickly, very quickly. We can hear you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Farah, and I represent a company called Pizza Bangladesh, and we are the alternative to PayPal in Bangladesh. I just wanted to take this opportunity to ask Basis Digital World, how is it that you can help us, a payment gateway internationally recognized in 197 countries, make the public understand and be aware that there's no PayPal, but there is PayPal right now?
Thanks.
Can I do that? Sure. Yeah. In answer to your question, which I mentioned earlier, there's got a tremendous awareness campaign in the country for the citizens of this country. The government has to have a proper policy, and between the two, they have to act together. And when we talk about any kind of technology, internet or otherwise, we are not only restricting ourselves to Bangladesh. When he mentioned regional, I would say regional to global. Okay, so incidentally, I happen to be the chairman of the communication IT for the whole PAC region. So that's another hat where I can take our message forward and interact with the concerned people. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thanks everyone. So I know that there are some people who couldn't ask question. So when I actually asked who are the people, only 4 people, but now it is. Thanks one thing for being hearing patiently, and also I thank all the panelists who have actually flown quite distant. I hope you enjoyed your time in Dhaka. So, and we look forward for meeting once again, probably in next digital world. So that we conclude. But before that, I think we have one formality. I think we have some crest for our speakers. So can someone come with the crest? I would request them to give the crest to the keynote speakers.
This one.
process. So I think we still will be joined. We already have with us the host and the keynote speaker. Today's keynote speaker is basically a very close industry member, Ed Hassan, head of Nassini. So I would request him to come on stage. And we also have a kind of panelists who are quite expert and who have got plenty of experience in the e-commerce area in different like payments and other direct e-commerce and support. So I've got Mr. Martin Malton. So he's a business level like head of very prominent. So Martin, please join us. So we have Mr. Shafka Haider, FBCI, and ex-vice president of BICC.
সবার প্রতি বিনীত অনুরোধ আমার পরবর্তী অধিবেশন প্রস্তুতির জন্য আপনাদের সহজ চাচ্ছি। পরবর্তী অধিবেশন আর আধা ঘন্টা পর শুরু হবে। সো এখানে ওটার প্রিপারেশনের ব্যাপারে আপনারা আমাদেরকে একটু সহযোগিতা করবেন রুম খালি করে। সবার কাছে বিনীত, আমাদের অধিবেশন 30 মিনিট পরেই শুরু হবে। সো আমাদের পরবর্তী